I'm very proud to represent Georgia in these ceremonies of remembrance and of resistance, I would say, that are being held for the 75th anniversary of the Holocaust. It is a privilege to be here in this beautiful city of Jerusalem. I would compete with you, with Tbilisi, but let's see. This eternal city founded by King David of Israel. It is an honor to be received here and to receive this prestigious award from the Friends of Zion, which has been bestowed before me on much more important leaders. It is an honor that is linked to late President Shimon Peres, who will ever be remembered for his service to the cause of peace. These ceremonies remembering 75 years of the Holocaust are of the utmost necessity. Of course, one could ask why, and why not simply forget this tragedy, this disaster for humankind that has been the Holocaust, that cancer? The answer is simple. Remembrance is vital. Only if humans remember can we all prevent the repetition of things past, of things intolerable, of things unacceptable. Memory is what distinguishes human beings from the animal world. Memory and the capacity to recognize where we all failed collectively, where we all faltered, and the ability to acknowledge past faults and crimes, the ability to repent and to learn. Remembrance and resistance. Resistance because we can never be confident enough that indifference, ignorance, weakness, and intolerance will not prevail once again. When we see our societies closing in, rejecting the other's opinions, culture, race, religion, resistance because once again in many countries that call themselves civilized and where sometimes democracy and freedom are supposedly highly valued, suddenly this cancer of anti-Semitism, of racism, of discrimination is reappearing. Intolerance is thriving. Hate speech has found an unexpected ally in the social media, where anonymity together with irresponsibility allow what should not be allowed to find its expression, at no other cost but that of our common values and dignity. The inexistence of anti-Semitism in itself cannot be a reason for pride, in the same way that one cannot pride oneself of not being a criminal or not being a thief. But we Georgians can be proud of something else, and that is a quality of bonds that have existed between Georgians and Jews, and I would say between Georgians and Georgians, for there was never any distinction made in Georgia on the basis of ethnic origin or religion, despite the fact that in Georgia Christianity has been part of the identity since the 1st century and even more since the state conversion in the 4th century. Religion has never divided us, even less opposed, but on the contrary has been a factor for mutual respect and enrichment. It has been at the core of our multi-secular bond. The first Jews seeking refuge in Georgia at the time of the destruction of the first temple brought with them monotheism in a then pagan Georgian society. Jews brought also at that time the robe of Prophet Elia, and later they brought the holy tunic of the Christ to Mtskheta, the then capital of Georgia, which became at that time known as the New Jerusalem. The oldest Bible of Lailashi is preserved with utmost love and care in Georgia. In the late 15th and early 16th century, Georgia offered again refuge to another wave, that of the Jews fleeing Spanish persecutions. In the recent history, Georgian Jews have been part of the movement of national independence, which at the end of the 19th century prepared the restoration of the independence, and they have participated fully to the establishment of the new Georgian state in 1918. Because religion has always united us, we need not praise ourselves with tolerance. You tolerate what you do not know, do not like, or do not completely understand. We had neither of these feelings, so we totally accepted this integral part of Georgia that was a Jewish community, the departure of which in large numbers at the time of the Jackson-Vanik Amendment was seen with deep regret. We could have said, keep the Jews in. This acceptance goes further and deeper. We have fought together at different times, helped and supported each other at all times in difficult times, and difficult times we have both experienced in many forms: invasions, hostile empires, wars, repressions. Both our people and both our states have had more than their share of hardship and tragedies, and that has forged yet another bond of mutual understanding, of mutual respect and friendship. That friendship of 27 centuries that we have inscribed in our national list of intangible cultural heritage, and I want to be recognized as a part of world's immaterial heritage. Today's ceremony and decoration award is a tribute not to me as a person, not even only to the President of Georgia. It is, in my humble view, a tribute to the Georgian people as a whole, and to this multi-secular bond, and to those that have carried it through centuries. Priest Grigol Peradze, which we have remembered today, is a symbol. He was more than merely Georgian. He was beyond and above any nationality, for he was and is a symbol of universal humanity. That very deep sense of humanity that can defeat Auschwitz and Dachau, as well as any form of totalitarianism. At the same time, we are proud that he was Georgian. It is notable that he has been canonized by the Georgian Orthodox Church because of having saved Jewish lives, and he has become even more of an example and a role model that can inspire future generations. For me, personally, this award is also a way to remember Misha Kedia, my uncle, who helped to save practically all the Georgian Jews that were part of the Georgian immigration in Paris during France's occupation. I also consider that this ceremony and this award is in honor of Georgian Jewish Rabbi David Bazov, who helped save Christian Georgians at the time of the Ottoman occupation of a part of southern Georgia in 1918. And in honor of all who have helped to develop our ties and have enriched our mutual history, in that regard, I have a few minutes away given myself the Georgian Merit Award to 4 women who impersonate these ties. Riva Babalikashvili, who has taught many Georgian virtuosos and Georgian Israeli virtuosos. Pnina Batsivi-Lipman, who has successfully helped Georgia in rebranding in Israel and who herself is a child of Holocaust survivors. Leah Bardani, Georgian Jew born in Israel, who during the 2008 war has been supporting all our soldiers that were healing here in Israel. And Tina Shimshilashvili, a Georgian Jewish poet. Our bond is inscribed in culture and history. Georgia was one of the main protector nations in Jerusalem and has twice supported the reconstruction of the Christ tomb. 39 monasteries, including the Holy Cross with its famous Ristaveli fresco, are testimonies of his important role. Our common archaeological expeditions will only uncover more and more of this common past. But our bond is not only in the past. It is very much inscribed in the present. Because we feel so naturally at ease with one another, Georgian Jews have found here the land of their ancestors while keeping their Georgian language and culture. That is why Israelis find it so attractive also and natural to come and stay in Georgia, come and invest, come and share our traditions and culture. Our bond is also inscribed in today's real world. Again, we find ourselves, both our countries, small nations faced with outside threats and having to defend our existence, independence, and sovereignty. Both of us faced with global challenges that are now the fate of the whole planet. Both are fighting with the common threat of terrorism, our soldiers in the peace missions around the world, your soldiers on your borders. Both our countries can pride themselves of having the same strategic partner, the United States, and of receiving their invaluable support and that of President Trump in defending our freedom and sovereignty. And would you please pass my deep thanks. Today's award for me is also another sign of the support of the United States to Georgia, which has been since our independence a constant and has been today reaffirmed in the newly passed Georgia Support Act. We have one common future. Because of our past, we know that nothing can overcome us, nothing can defeat us in the end. We know, for having been around for more than 26 centuries, that if we have come until here and until today and survived everything, that we'll continue to defend our sovereignty and independence for centuries to come. Resilience is something we have in common, and a strong belief in the future, a future that will not allow any tragedies of the kind that we have to remember these days. Thank you very much.